He once trusted every smile, every hand that slapped his back. Thought loyalty came easy when the road was smooth and black. But storms don't show their warnings, and betrayal hits like rain. It was someone that he cherished who delivered him the pain. It was a lesson he learned the hard way, that trust can be a loaded gun. Not everyone beside you wants to see your battles won. He walked away from the wreckage, from the lies they tried to say. Yeah, it was a lesson he learned the hard way. He saw envy in their laughter, saw their cheers turn into knives. Funny how the ones you feed can come for your whole life. But he rose from out the ashes, found strength behind his scars. He learned the quiet man survives by knowing who people really are. It was a lesson he learned the hard way, when the truth cut deep and cold. He found out friendship ain't forever. Some hearts don't stay gold. But he held his silence tightly, let his discipline outweigh. 'Cause it was a lesson he learned the hard way. He don't hate the past no longer, it sharpened every part of him. Turned his patience into armor, turned the darkness into skin. Now he keeps his circle smaller, only real ones get inside. 'Cause the man who once was blinded now sees everything they hide. It was a lesson he learned the hard way, but it built him into stone. He don't speak on what he's planning, he stands stronger on his own. That betrayal didn't break him, it just carved a wiser way. Yeah, it was a lesson he learned the hard way. I learned early that a leader ain't the one who swings the blade. He's the one who gives the orders, plans the moves the others made. I don't rush into the fire, I don't run to chase the fame. I stand back and guide the motion, let the work uphold my name. This is the empire built in my name. Even when my hands stay clean, I put the pieces where they needed to be. Made kings out of men unseen. But when the glory came rolling in, it was me they chose to acclaim. This is the empire built in my name, and I rose without the strain. watch men break their bodies just claimed what I control. A real leader sees the battlefield from a height that's cold and bold. Some called it cruel or selfish, said I took what wasn't mine. But the world crowns those who guide it, not the ones who stay in line. This is the empire built in my name, made from loyalty and fear. They did the work, I shaped the course, and now my shadow's everywhere. I didn't lift a finger, but the world still knows my claim. This is the empire built in my name, and they'll remember me by name.
Never offered much to strangers, never opened up too fast, but he knew one gentle moment could make any caution pass. A single act of mercy, just the truth he let them see. And suddenly their guard was lowered, 'cause his kindness was the key. His kindness was the key to the doors they never locked. One soft word, one quiet gesture, and their defenses all would drop. They felt safe inside his presence, trusted what they thought he'd be. His kindness was the key to hearts he'd slip through easily. He gave warmth without surrender, gave support without his soul. He learned generosity is power when you keep the deeper goal. Oh, they mistook him for a savior, for a man who couldn't stray, but he only gave enough to gently guide them his own. His kindness was a key, a soft touch with steel behind. They shared secrets they'd been hiding, thinking he was good and kind. But he stayed one step above them, watching patterns they couldn't see. Was the key, and he turned it silently. There's danger in a tender gesture, power in a truthful glance. He mastered both with cold precision, never left it up to chance. But he held back what they depended on, turned faith into quiet dust. His kindness was the key, and he used it with intent. They opened doors to let him enter, was a key, and that's what made them kneel.
Never asked for their attention, never cared to be the star. He walked quiet through the doorway, but his presence carried far. They could feel the fire in his footsteps, sense the storms behind his eyes. A man like him don't chase the spotlight. The spotlight knows where he resides. He's a man everyone watches in silence, the force they feel before he speaks. He don't move fast, he don't move loud, but his aura makes a weak man weak. They don't know why they turn to see him, but they do it every time he's near. He's a man everyone watches in silence, the one they respect and fear. He don't brag about his triumphs, don't explain what he became. He lets rumors do the talking, lets the world invent his name. Some say he's been through darkness, others swear he walked through flame, but only he knows how he built the quiet power he became. He's a man everyone watches in silence, like they feel a shifting tide. He's the ghost inside the doorway, he's the thunder they can't hide. They don't know what he's planning, but they know he's drawing near. He's a man everyone watches in silence, the one they respect and fear. He don't need applause or praise, don't need chaos in his hand. He commands the room by breathing, that's the language of a man. The loud ones fade to shadows, their voices swallowed by the gloom, while he stands calm and patient, and his silence fills the room. He's a man everyone watches in silence, a prison's carved from steel. No lies, no show, no empty words, just the truth of how he feels. When he leaves, the air feels thinner, like he took the weight with him. He's a man everyone watches in silence, and the room grows quiet again.
He wasn't born with a spotlight, wasn't raised to claim the throne. He learned power don't live loudly, it grows quiet, slow and alone. They laughed when he stayed humble, said he'd never stand tall. But men who learn the shadows are the ones who win it all. Power grows in the places they don't look, in the corners where the proud men never go, in the silence he was sharpening his mind while they were busy trying to steal the show. They thought he was nothing, but they never understood the hook. Power grows in the places they don't look. He kept his head a little lower, let their egos fill the room. He watched pride become their weakness, watched arrogance become their tomb. He never spoke when it wasn't needed, never bragged about his plans. But behind those calm brown eyes was a king they couldn't understand. Power grows in the places they don't look, in the dirt where seeds of greatness hide. He let them chase their noisy glory while he built something solid inside. They thought he was harmless, but they never read the book. Power grows in the places they don't look. He learned more from staying silent than they learned from shouting loud. He wore humility gracefully, it made him disappear in the crowd. But a man who knows his purpose don't need an audience to grow. He becomes the storm they fear on the day he finally lets it show. Power grows in the places they don't look, where the patient man quietly trains, where the world can't see the struggle, only the victory that remains. They thought they were ahead till he took everything they took. Power grows in the places they don't look.
He never walked the same direction, never spoke the way they'd expect. One day warm like rising sunlight, next day colder than neglect. They try to read him like a story, try to map his quiet ways, but the man they couldn't predict changed the rules within the day. He was a man they couldn't predict, a shadow shifting with the tide. When they thought he'd step in closer, he turned distant, stepped aside. No pattern they could follow, no behavior they could pick. Yeah, he was a man they couldn't predict. He watched them flinch from indecision, watched them fear what he might do. They learned caution in his presence, silence taught them like a bruise. His unpredictability was a weapon dressed in calm. Every time they thought they knew him, he became a different storm. He was the man they couldn't predict, and that power kept him free. They respected him in whispers, 'cause they feared what they might see. He moved like shifting thunder, like a gamble they couldn't pick. Yeah, he was the man they couldn't predict. Never let them see his aim. He'd smile softly in the morning, by the night he'd change the game. And those who tried to test him found confusion in the air. 'Cause a man who owns his mystery is a man they wouldn't dare. He was a man they couldn't predict, a riddle carved from smoke and bone. He didn't need to raise his voice, uncertainty became his throne. And while the world stayed guessing, he stayed one step ahead, slick. He was a man they couldn't predict, a ghost they couldn't trick. Hey. I don't talk just to be heard. I don't speak to fill the air. I let the loud men chase their voices. I move different, I stay rare. They mistake my calm for weakness, till they feel my presence here. 'Cause a man who speaks in silence is the one they don't forget. Quiet men control the room, without a word, without a fight. We don't shout to make a statement, we just stand and steal the light. Every whisper feels like thunder, every glance becomes a truth. Quiet men control the room, and I'm living proof. I watch their mouths run reckless, watch them brag about their plans. But the louder that they holler, the more power leaves their hands. Me, I choose the colder method, let my silence set the tone. When I finally choose to speak, always stops for my own. Quiet men control the room. We don't need to raise our sound. Every word becomes a warning, every breath becomes a crown. While the reckless chase attention, we let patience be our proof. Quiet men control the room, and silence is the truth. You can't read a man who's wordless, can't predict a mind that hides. I don't rush to prove my value, I let time pick who survives. Strength don't scream, it stands unshaken, solid as a winter stone. The man who speaks the least is the one they should have known. Quiet men control the room with a glance, a step, a stance. We don't fight for recognition, power moves without a chance. When the noise has all collapsed, only presence stands as proof. Quiet men control the room, and silence is the truth.
He built his name from nothing, brick by brick and night by night. Never begged for praise or favors, he just burned to get it right. He knew people judge your shadow long before they see your face. So he carried himself with purpose, kept his weaknesses out of place. A man is only as strong as his name, as the stories people tell. He carved his out of discipline, out of storms that drag through hell. He didn't talk much, didn't seek love, respect became his claim. A man is only as strong as his name, and he stood behind his without shame. Yeah. He watched men lose everything, chasing praise from every crowd. Saw their reputations crumble when they tried too hard to sound loud. But he let his silence shape him, let his actions show his worth. 'Cause a name built on real effort is a fortress on this earth. A man is only as strong as his name, it's the armor that he wore. You could take his home, his comfort, but his reputation, nothing more. He guarded it like a kingdom, like a fire no one could tame. A man is only as strong as his name, and he earned every letter through flame. Whoa. Tried to twist him with their words, but his actions crushed their gossip louder louder than the lies they heard. He stayed steady, stayed unbroken. Let the truth reveal his frame. For men who stand in silence aren't shaped by someone else's claim. A man is only as strong as his name, and he guarded his with soul. It became the legacy he built, the one thing he could control. When he's gone, they'll speak his memory, but today they speak his aim. A man is only as strong as his name, and his name became his flame.
He wasn't one for wasting breath, didn't care to prove a thing, while others argued for attention. He built empires like a king. They tried pulling him into drama, tried to drag him into fights, but he walked past all the noise and let his footsteps set the light. He was the man who never needed to explain, 'cause his actions wrote the story clear. He didn't shout, he didn't boast, but his presence sparked a quiet fear. They could question him in circles, but his results remained. He was a man who never needed to explain. He was a man who never needed to explain. He watched men speak themselves to ruin, spewing words they couldn't back. All that noise turned into weakness. Truth is something they would lack, but he moved like steady thunder, slow and heavy through the dark. Every move became a warning, every silence left a mark. He was the man who never needed to explain. Let the doubters talk instead. He just worked behind the curtain while his victories filled the air. They could argue all they wanted, but he kept building his domain. He was a man who never needed to explain. A strong man don't argue, he don't plead, he don't defend. He lets the truth reveal itself when the noise comes to an end. The loud ones faded quickly, tried to fight what they couldn't see, but the silent man kept walking, toward the fate he knew he'd be. He was the man who never needed to explain, and the world learned how he moved, not by speeches or by stories, but by everything he proved. When he left, the room felt hollow, like his shadow still remained. He was a man who never needed to explain. He was a man who never needed to explain.
He walked like a man with a purpose, but you never know where he goes. He mastered the art of silence, kept his thoughts beneath the snow. People begged him for direction, tried to read the way he moved, but he never left a footprint that could tell them what he proved. Never show your next step, let them guess what's on your mind. Power lies in mystery, not in trails you leave behind. Let the loud men chase attention, let the quiet men refine. Never show your next step, that's how kings are redesigned. He watched men fall from talking, giving plans to jealous ears. He learned vision dies in daylight and grows stronger through the years. So he kept his dreams in shadows, let them bloom behind his eyes. When he finally made his move, it took the whole world by surprise. Never show your next step, never speak on what you'll do. Let your actions be the thunder that they never saw come through. You don't owe them explanations, only proof when it comes true. Never show your next step, that's how strong men follow through. They try watching how he shifted, tried to guess his silent code, but a man who moves like water can't be captured on a road. He stayed calm while they got reckless, stayed patient while they shook, 'cause the one who hides his motives is the one they never overlook. Never show your next step, let them wonder where you stand. Let them think they understand you, while your future's in your hand. When the time was right to strike, he took everything they took. Never show your next step, that's the law he never shook.
He tried to help the ones who stumble, try to lift what broke their back. But every time he stepped in closer, he felt his own foundation crack. They came with storms they never faced, crying loud for someone new. But the weight that wasn't his to carry pulled him down like sinking glue. It was the weight that wasn't his to carry, a burden born from someone else's pain. He tried to hold their fallen world together, but it only washed him out like rain. Some lows don't make you stronger, some lows just drive you weary. Yeah, it was a weight that wasn't his to carry. He learned that misery loves company, loves a heart that tries to save. But the unhappy drag you under when they're drowning in their waves. They blame their fate on every shadow, blame the past for every scar. But he saw their darkness spreading like a sickness from afar. It was a weight that wasn't his to carry, and he knew he had to walk away. Some battles aren't worth fighting, some souls don't want a brighter day. He saved his strength for his own journey, left the chaos they would marry. Yeah, it was a weight that wasn't his to carry. Knows the chains that aren't his own. He don't lose himself in others just to prove his heart has grown. He learned peace requires distance, learn that saving takes its toll. You can't lose your whole foundation trying to fix a broken soul. It was a weight that wasn't his to carry, and leaving was the bravest thing he did. He traded guilt for quiet freedom, traded sorrow for the life he'd hid. And though they called him selfish, he walked off calm and steady. Yeah. 'Cause it was weight that wasn't his to carry, yeah. And he ain't built to die for what ain't ready.
He walked with a steady kind of quiet, not the type that begged for praise, but something in his presence made the lost men change their ways. They came to him for guidance, came to borrow what he knew, and every time he gave a little, their dependence only grew. He was needed by many, owned by none, a force they leaned on in the night. They reached for him when they were breaking, when they couldn't stand and fight. They trusted him like holy scripture, but he answered like a loaded gun. He was needed by many, owned by none. He learned the power in scarcity, and giving only what he chose. Not too much to make them equals, just enough to keep them close. They waited on his wisdom, hung on every word he spoke, but he never gave the whole truth, only pieces that they broke. He was needed by many, owned by none, the anchor when their storms began. To them it was a common thunder, but he was never any man's man. They tried to claim him, tried to hold him, but he slipped them one by one. He was needed by many, owned by none. Dependence is a currency, and he spent it with control. He let people feel his value, never let them take his soul. A king don't ask for loyalty, he earns it through his rest. The man who can't be captured is the one they all compare. He was needed by many, owned by none, a shadow with a sovereign mind. They followed him like wounded soldiers, praying he would lead the blind. But he kept his heart untouchable, never gave it to anyone. He was needed by many, owned by none, by none, by none. He never chased a single soul, never begged for someone's time. He learned power sits in patience, not in footsteps out of line. While other men ran frantic, trying hard to be admired, he stayed calm like distant thunder, and his presence lit their fire. They come to him without him moving, drawn by something they can't name. He don't talk loud, he don't chase crowds, but his silence pulls like flame. Every step they take toward him makes him stronger, makes them tame. They come to him without him moving, and he never plays their game. He don't rush to prove his value, he don't sprint to win their praise. He just stands with steady posture, letting whispers set the stage. They approach him seeking answers, thinking he holds hidden keys. But the truth is, they just feel him like a shifting in the breeze. They come to him without him moving, like his shadow bends their will. He don't need to make an entrance, just existing keeps them still. They crave the calm he's carrying, they crave the strength he won't explain. They come to him without him moving, and he wins without the strain. Steady on his throne, those who step into his circle till their footsteps crossed his line. They come to him without him moving, pulled like tides beneath the moon. He ain't loud, he ain't boastful, but his presence fills a room. In the end, it's not his effort, but his patience that they claim. They come to him without him moving, and they whisper out his name.
He didn't get the childhood calm. Life taught lessons with open palm. He knew pain before he knew mercy. Yeah, he made peace with trouble early. Street lights blink like warning signs. He grew up reading between the lines, where danger came unhurried. He made peace with trouble early. He made peace with trouble early. Walked through storms that hit him dirty. Learn to stay calm when chaos swirled. Yeah, he made peace with trouble early. Most boys fear the dark at night. He learned to see without the light. Where others shook, he walked sturdy. He made peace with trouble early. Now grown men flinch at what he's seen. He treats fear like a routine. No panic in the place is blurry. He made peace with trouble early. He made peace with trouble early. That's why he moves so cold and whirly. Trouble calls him slow and surely, yeah. He made peace with trouble early. He don't chase danger, it knows him. Been shadowed by since he was slim. They wonder why he walks so firmly. He made peace with trouble early. He made peace with trouble early. War wounds young, war wisdom early. Now the world bows down indirectly, 'cause he made peace with trouble early. With trouble early. They thought he'd break when the storm came down. He just lit a cigar and watched them drown. Didn't speak, didn't rage or bend, just played the long game to the end. Every scar turned into plan, every loss refined man. Now when he walks, the silence chills, 'cause calm like his, it kills. He smiled like revenge, slow and cold. Every grin a story told. Didn't need to fight, didn't need to pretend. Power's quiet when it's revenge. He smiled like revenge, smooth and clean. Eyes sharp, heart serene. Didn't boast, didn't defend. They just knew it was revenge. He never raised his voice, just raised his worth. Turned every bruise into rebirth. They luck, it was designed. Calculated peace through time. He don't brag, he don't chase, just moves with a patient face. And when they finally realized who he became, it was too late. He changed the game. He smiled like revenge, slow and cold. Every grin a story told. Didn't need to fight, didn't need to pretend. Power's quiet when it's revenge. He smiled like revenge, smooth and clean, eyes sharp, heart serene. Didn't boast, didn't defend, they just knew it was revenge, yeah. No threats, no rage, no show, just calm that made the weak let go. He won in silence, in time and grace, with a steady hand and poker face. He smiled like revenge, like a ghost reborn. Every scar turned crown he wore. Didn't shout, didn't need to send, they just saw this is the end. He smiled like revenge, smooth as sin, cold wind brushed across his grin. He never spoke, but made amends by living better. Oh, that's revenge. He never stayed where he wasn't needed, never lingered just to please. Like a master in a mountain, he moved silent with the breeze. People wanted his attention, wanted answers in their pain. But he learned that giving presence makes your presence lose its flame. He appeared only when it mattered, like a shadow trained by faith. When he stepped into the doorway, every heartbeat learned to wait. They respected him in absence, fear the calm he radiated. He appeared only when it mattered, and his mystery elevated. Watch them beg for constant guidance, watch them cling when he was near. But he knew too much availability turns a legend into mere. So he walked away in silence, let them wonder where he gone. And the less they saw his footsteps, the more powerful he shone. He appeared only when it mattered, every return a sharp surprise, like a martial master hidden. He revealed what made him wise. They forget him for a moment, then his absence was cut like steel. Holy my. He appeared only when it mattered, and his presence made them kneel. Holy my. Holy my. Holy my. Holy my. Holy my. There's a strength in being distant, like a monk atop the stone. When you give the world too much of you, they forget you stand alone. But a man who guards his presence holds a kingdom in his hand. For absence builds the legend that no mortal can withstand. He appeared only when it mattered, and the world leaned in to hear. Every word became a lesson, every moment felt severe. He became the ghost they honored, became the myth they couldn't scatter. He appeared only when it mattered, and absence made him matter.